Okay, hey everybody. So today we're going to be talking about understanding characters. Now, when it comes to understanding characters, we want to start off with the protagonist. Now, the protagonist is the main character. Okay. Now, this is the one who the story revolves around. My goodness, please stop falling on me. Sorry, guys. So, revolves around. So, the one who faces the main conflict. The one who faces the main conflict. Now, what I want us to make sure that we understand is just caution here, right? A protagonist, goodness gracious, isn't always the hero of the story or someone the reader pulls or roots for. Okay, the reader's feelings about that character can vary. Sometimes the reader's feelings about that character can vary. Oh my goodness, vary. Sometimes we root for them. Sometimes we dislike them. Then sometimes we question them. I'm so sorry, guys. Sometimes we question them, and sometimes we even dislike them. They're still considered the protagonist, whether you like them or not, because the story is told through their journey. Now, what's important too here, okay, is I think of Dominic Toretto in Fast and Furious. He's, a criminal, but he's still the protagonist. We're about to read a story called A Christmas Carol. Now, with A Christmas Carol, Scrooge is a very unlikable character. Okay, he's very unlikable, and even by the end, I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't know if he ever necessarily becomes a lovable character, but he's who we are following. So just because you don't like him doesn't mean he's not the protagonist. Now, the antagonist, this is the character. Now, it doesn't always have to be a physical character. It can also be a force, like a force of nature that opposes the protagonist. That's right. The antagonist's job, their sole job, is to challenge the protagonist. They make the story interesting by creating conflict. Without them, there is no conflict. Without Thanos, they would just go home. Right? So next. Please take note. My goodness gracious. The antagonist, as I've already said, my tongue side, isn't always a person. It can be the following. It can be a group. It can be society. It can be nature. It can be technology. Oh, goodness. It can even be the protagonist's own mind, like inside of their head. Okay? So, we will try it now. All right? We have The Lion King. If you need to watch the video, this scene from The Lion King, it's there for you in Wavio. But I feel like most of us already know the protagonist is Simba and the antagonist is Scar. Okay. Now, moving down here, this story, I'm gonna pause. You're gonna read this. All right. I'm gonna give you some time to pause and read this, and then I'm gonna come back to this at the end. So you're not just gonna get the answers right now, but what's the protagonist and the antagonist in this story, and then we're gonna go to There's More. Okay. So please make sure you have this answered before the end of the video. So, have you ever noticed how some characters in movies feel so real you can imagine being friends with them, while others seem to exist just to say one funny line and then they disappear? So authors make these choices, and that's what we keep talking about, right? Is authors' choices. Why are they making these choices in these stories? Why do they do what they do? Okay, they do it all on purpose, certainly, right? So not every character needs to change to have a deep backstory. Okay, some drive the story forward. Others just make it interesting. Let's look at the types of characters authors use and how they serve a purpose. I'm sorry for not highlighting this one. That one was totally on me. I thought I had every single line highlighted. Okay. So we start off here with static characters, and static's just like you think. People think static electricity, so they think like, oh, it's moving, static electricity. But static electricity is the electricity that's in whatever the surface is, or so it's not moving, and then it jumps to you from a surface that wasn't moving, as opposed to actual electricity, which is following a constant current. So stop thinking that way if you do, and just think of the word as static. It doesn't move. So their personality, their values, or outlook, it stays the same throughout the story. The static character often gives sidekick energy. That should stay same. Sidekick energy. They stay the same so we can clearly see how much the main character changes, because they don't change at all. So we're going to look at Finding Nemo for a lot of these. Dory in Finding Nemo, she's forgetful and nice throughout the movie. She's never not a nice person. She never magically stops forgetting things. Now, dynamic characters, their personality, values, or outlook change or grow throughout the story. They give main character energy, right? Because they're the ones that are going to change. They change because of important events or lessons learned. Now, spoiler alert, Scrooge, our main character, he's the dynamic character. He's not static. Now, you might not like him, but he is still a dynamic character. Now, Marlin from Finding Nemo, he's grumpy, he's fearful, he's controlling, but then he learns to trust, he learns to let go, he lets Nemo do what Nemo wants to do by the end of the movie, right? Now, round characters, the reader learns a lot about their personality, background, and emotions. They feel real and believable. Oh my goodness. Like someone you could actually know. Authors use round characters so readers can connect and understand their choices. All right, Nemo from Finding Nemo, we see multiple sides of him. He's curious, he's rebellious, he's brave, he's caring. We see all these different things. He's very, very round. He has all these different parts to him. Whereas flat characters, it's just like what you think, right? The reader learns very little about their personality and background. They show really just one main trait. They're funny, they're intelligent, they're helpful, they're mean. And they stay that way. They never stop being the funny character. They never stop being the mean character. Authors use flat characters to support the story. So they're not usually their main character, right? Without distracting from the main characters. Crush from Finding Nemo. He's the chill, laid-back turtle who helps Marlin, but we don't learn much else about him. Okay? So now I want you to think about your own movie that you can think of where you can have a static, dynamic, round, and flat character. Name the movie, name that, and then tell me how do you know. And just so we understand, like, how do you know? Well, static character, they stay mean they stay stupid the whole movie. They stay mean the whole movie, right? Your dynamic character is usually your main number one character, your protagonist, or sometimes even your well, I would say that a lot of times the static characters are the antagonists and the dynamic characters are the protagonists. But the dynamic character, they change, they grow, they shift, they learn things. Round characters are very developed characters. We know a lot about those characters. Of course, my dogs. And then flat characters, we know only one thing, very little about those flat characters. So after you do that, all right, I want to see it, and then you will come up to me. And this actually, it got messed up because of my typing, but it's actually just it's two sides here, and you're going to work on this with a partner or by yourself. This is the practice, okay? So you're going to come get that practice from me after I see these notes glued into your notebook with you trying this part on your own. All right. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know if you need any help or have any questions as you move through this video. Okay. Bye, everybody.